Hey, what's up guys, NGH here, welcome to another Operation Arsenal video. Today a bit of a preview of the game against West Ham tomorrow, and also some other things that I want to talk about, players still potentially leaving. We're going to analyse some of the performances we've seen so far under Emery, and also the main topic of this video, and that is the answer to a question I've had for many years at Arsenal. And of course this question, well actually the answer to the question is always changing, but we have an answer for now. And that is, who is the fastest player at the club? So we're going to take a look at the top 10 quickest players at the club. And I tell you what, there are some huge surprises. It's no surprise that Aubameyang is right at the top there. Now, the max speed, it's a little bit difficult to explain. So take it as you want. This is the highest speed they reached in this training exercise, I guess. And they also had a percentage of their max speed that they reached. So, for example, I believe Aubameyang, with his 10.01 score, that was 97% of his max speed. He still had a little bit left in him, whereas some players, I think Rob Holding in 6th place, was at 100%. That is as fast as he can go. So it's quite scary to me that Aubameyang could have actually gone quicker. But there are some real surprises in this, and that's why I wanted to bring this up in this video, because there's a lot of players at the club that, even myself, have said they're not very quick. You know, we need a bit of pace in that area. Look at Socratis in 3rd place with 9.59, and then Iwobi right behind him. Now, Iwobi, he himself has said that he's not very quick, but he's the 4th quickest at Arsenal. And then we've got Mustafi in 5th, Holding in 6th, Welbeck in 7th, which surprised me. I've always thought Welbeck was extremely quick. He's a very physical player. He's a massive guy, really muscular. You'd think he'd be a very powerful runner. Well, he is. Mesut Ozil in 8th, Lacazette in 9th, and Aaron Ramsey in 10th. So these are the top 10 quickest players at Arsenal. Now, I'm not sure what the distance was when they measured this. My guess would be a 50, maybe a 60-metre sprint, because that's what football is. It's about acceleration more than sprint speed. You know, most players won't reach their top speed during a match very often. There'll be a lot, though, of acceleration, getting off the mark as quick as possible for a second of crazy sprinting and then just slowing back down to a jog. So obviously this could be different long distance. Maybe if it was a 400-metre race, I don't think Aubameyang would win that. Actually, I don't know. In general, he's just very quick. But the real surprise for me is Socratis. Now, when I watched him play against Chelsea specifically, with the pace they had on the break, I did often think to myself, do you know what, he's a bit slow, isn't he? He's definitely lost a bit of speed in the last few years of his career, because I remember when he first joined Dortmund, he looked very quick. And actually, if we always look at the FIFA ratings as well, I know it's got nothing to do with their real life physicality most of the time, but they tend to get it somewhat right. The quick players in FIFA are quick in real life and vice versa. Socratis was pretty quick in FIFA and he has slowly gone down. He's got older. But it seems we're going to have a word with EA, because if he's the 3rd quickest at the football club, how is he not getting 80, 85 pace like he used to? So very interesting to see that, you know, not exactly the trimmest of players. You know, he's quite a bulky guy. He's 30 now. Is he really that quick? Well, clearly he is. And Iwobi, again, really blew my mind to see him there. It was great to see Mustafi and Holding there. I mean, a lot of our quick players are actually defenders. We've got Bellerin, who easily, I think, is probably the quickest off the mark. I mean, the acceleration he has is quite scary. Mustafi, Holding as well. I mean, centre-backs being that quick, very helpful, especially if you're doing an Arsenal career mode like I will be. Maybe I need to up the pace myself manually if EA don't do it. Welbeck definitely was always going to be in the top 10, but Mesut I wasn't expecting. So Mesut's a funny one. I think it's the way he runs. It's his, I don't know, his body language seems very lethargic, very slow, and almost like he's not trying. But he's got into the top 8, which is impressive. And then Lacazette was always going to be in the top 10 as well. Very explosive player. And Aaron Ramsey. Now, I think if they did a stamina type training exercise, I think Ramsey would be right up there with maybe Torreira, maybe Lichtsteiner. These guys have real stamina. You know, they keep going. But the fact that Ramsey is also in the top 10 quickest, that says a lot about his athleticism. So very interesting to see this, and I thought I would have a quick chat about it. But now let's take a look into the game against West Ham tomorrow. The first thing I thought of when I saw this fixture just a couple of weeks ago, when obviously Wilshere left was that we'll be playing against him for the first time. And it's going to be a weird one. I'm pretty sure he will be starting that game. And I'm sure it's going to be even more weird for Wilshere, who's been with Arsenal since he was a kid. And now for the first time will be against Arsenal. Although he obviously was on loan at Bournemouth, so I guess he's kind of got that experience now being away from the club. But this will be the first time for real at a new club that he's permanently signed for to be coming up against Arsenal. And it's a very weird one. And I hope he has a good game. But of course I want Arsenal to win this match. And we need Wilshere to not control their midfield. So tomorrow, how would I line up against West Ham? We've seen West Ham struggling since the start of the season. They've lost both their openers, I believe. New manager, lots of new signings, yet to gel. Similar to what we've got going on. So it's almost a battle of the the teams with no chemistry, as they say. But there's no issues there. I don't think that Arsenal have a lack of chemistry right now between the players, especially before tomorrow's game. It'll be absolutely fine. And it's the same with West Ham. When you sign these big players, they slot in so quickly these days. And you can see, especially with Arsenal, with Torreira joining and with Socratis, they're already a big part of the group. So I don't think that's going to play a big difference between the two clubs tomorrow. I think both teams will be raring to go and ready to go. It's just, how do we set up? So recently we've been going with a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. And it's always been Xhaka and Guendouzi behind maybe Mesut, Mkhitaryan, or whoever starts that game. Against Chelsea, we saw that Xhaka and Guendouzi, although they are good at controlling the midfield in some ways, we saw a lack of mobility, especially with Xhaka not being very quick. He wasn't in that top 10 for a reason. And I feel like if we go with Xhaka again against West Ham, it won't be so bad. However, I would like to go with Torreira right in the middle with Guendouzi and maybe Aaron Ramsey. So I'd be going with a 4-3-3, and I'd have in the centre of those three midfielders, Torreira with Guendouzi and Ramsey either side. And then going forward, I would stay with Iwobi. I'd put him out on the left. I thought he had a very good game against Chelsea, and I think he's got a big chance to shine now this season with the fact that we've got no real winger. If we're forcing him out wide, which I don't believe is his best position, maybe he can prove us wrong. Maybe he can play on that left side and cut inside and use his ability, because he's got ability. We know he can be a great player. He just seems to just be so inconsistent. So I'd go with him on the left after a great performance against Chelsea. He was one of our best players. Up front, I'd be going with Aubameyang, and then on the right side, I'd be going with Mkhitaryan. Now, you're probably thinking, well, where does Mesut Ozil go? I would actually drop him. After the first two games, disappeared completely, and I think that it's time that we've now got a new manager that we need to be a bit more forceful when it comes to these decisions. We need to be dropping players that aren't playing well. So the same with Xhaka, needs to be dropped. Hasn't been particularly great. Although I did notice in that Chelsea game, once we subbed off Xhaka at half-time, we lost a little bit of control in midfield. That's what he's great at. He receives the ball and he does look up. Although it's mostly sideways passes, he does slow everything down, which maybe Torreira, Guendouzi, certainly not right now with his age, can't quite do. So with Torreira and Guendouzi together, that could be a problem of its own. But the fact that we're playing at home, I think that gives us an advantage. We can settle down a little bit quicker. And, I think ultimately that is going to help us the most, the fact that we are back at the Emirates. So with Ozil being dropped to the bench, that should hopefully get him a little bit angry. Let's see it, Ozil. Let's see you fight to get back in this team, because I think Mkhitaryan's been better than Ozil in every way so far. And what I would do then, maybe in the second half, if we're winning the game, or maybe we're drawing, or maybe we're losing by one, whatever the case may be, I would then take Iwobi or Mkhitaryan off and bring on Lacazette and go with two up top. Because Lacazette, every time he has played so far under Emery, I've been very impressed. The only reason I wouldn't start him is because of Iwobi having such a great game against Chelsea. Otherwise, I would maybe put Aubameyang slightly on the left and have Lacazette going through the middle. Now, Koscielny's almost back, which is something else I wanted to talk about. Captain Lolo, Captain Kosk, as they call him, or Kosh. Great to have him back at some point soon. Who does he step in for when he's ready? I think we need to play Socratis. He's a new player, and he is probably, behind Koscielny, our best defender on paper, right? Maybe the best. Because Koscielny, we haven't seen him play for a little while. I'm so gutted that he missed the World Cup. What a World Cup to miss. Same with Lacazette, really. So I would, obviously, for tomorrow with West Ham, stick with Socratis and Mustafi. But as soon as Koscielny's fit, I would like to see Socratis moved over to the right centre-back position and then Koscielny put in on the left side, which is where he's most comfortable. And that would give Mustafi, however you want to say his name, a little bit of a chance to realise that he's not the king defender. He's not at the level that we want him to be and needs to work on his game a little bit because, yeah, a little bit dodgy sometimes. I thought he was okay against Chelsea, but certainly not against City. Very, very poor. On the left, Monreal, no problems with that. I think Monreal, as soon as he came back, it was great to have him at Chelsea. He's just such a more composed left-back than Kolasinac. And, of course, Maitland-Niles is out, so we can't play him. And we don't have another left-back. I mean, Lichtsteiner did well at left-back against Man City when he came on, but I would actually put Lichtsteiner at right-back. Of course, that's his main position. If I had to play him, though, I'd rather he was on the right. That's the main question, though. That's the biggest decision for me against West Ham. Do we go with Bellerin against West Ham, or do we go with Lichtsteiner? I'd go with Bellerin, because he was okay against Chelsea defensively, but he was brilliant against Chelsea going forward. He gave us an outlet a lot of the time, and without wingers, you know, Arsenal struggle without wingers at the moment. We just don't have any pure out-and-out wingers. He effectively is a winger in this formation that we play. He gets forward a lot. It does leave gaps at the back. He does have to remember his defensive duties. But with Lichtsteiner, you've got a more experienced and a better defender. Let's be honest, he is a better defender. So it's a difficult one. Maybe we go with Lichtsteiner against the bigger clubs where we're going to be sitting back a bit more. But when we're on the attack, we're playing at home against West Ham, who are low on confidence. We should be going with Bellerin. He is our long-term right back. He still has so much potential, whereas Lichtsteiner is a one-season man. I mean, I don't think he'll be with us next season. And if he is, the season after that, I very much doubt it. So, yeah, that's going to be my lineup for tomorrow. But the last position in question, of course, is goalkeeper. 100%. Leno goes in. I'm done with Cech. Made some fantastic saves. But we have a new play style under Emery. We want to play from out the back. A lot of big teams do it around the world and have been doing it for a few years now. And Arsenal are just starting. We're just trying it out, really. And we're already at a disadvantage with Mustafi and Socratis, who aren't particularly graceful with the ball at their feet. So, Cech makes it 100 times worse. Great goalkeeper, great shot stopper, but terrible with the ball at his feet. And that is no good because Leno is equally as good shot stopper, but better with his feet. So I would very much like to see Leno coming in tomorrow. I would like to see Ramsey as captain. I think that would be really nice. I think Ramsey should be made captain full-time if Koscielny doesn't keep his fitness up this season. I'd like to think that Ramsey's going to sign his new contract soon and get the captaincy. But I don't know if that's going to happen with Petr Cech ahead of him. With Koscielny, of course, being the main captain. And then you've got other players that could technically be ahead of him. Mesut Ozil, potentially. I know Granit Xhaka's a leader. He was captain at Mönchengladbach. So Ramsey's not quite at the top of the list. But if it means that it makes him feel a little bit more important and wanted at the club, give him the captaincy. He's been here the longest out of everyone at the club. He's the longest serving player. Let's reward him with that. Now, last but not least, before we end the video, I've heard a couple of rumours that we are still looking to sell a couple of players. It looks like we will be selling Ospina to Fenerbahce. I don't know how solid this rumour is, but it seems to be one that's propping up a lot. So that's something that could be happening soon. Welbeck, though, I'm not sure what's going on with Welbeck. He was heavily linked with Southampton just before the window shut. That's not going to happen now. And I don't see Welbeck going abroad. So I don't think that's going to happen. Remember, the English transfer window has come to an end, but everywhere else is still open, which is stupid to me. If the rest of the world is open, we should still be open, I think. I think it's actually great that we've ended it before this season started, but I think the whole world should match that. Whether or not that'll happen in the next few years or not, I don't know. But it looks like Welbeck will be staying. And do you know what? I'm not upset at that. It's another option. It's another forward player. And a good player on his day. A very nice, versatile squad player, basically. So with Ospina going, I'm not sure if there's anything else going on right now. I think that there may be one or two surprises coming up in the next week or so before the end of the window. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ospina is let go in the next couple of days. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm really excited for the game tomorrow. Aubameyang is the fastest player at Arsenal with Bellerin in second and Socratis in third. I still can't believe that. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like, and I will see you next time.